Hello, everyone. Thanks you, John, my presentation. Even the topic is quite hard because we all know that the collaboration is hard. We all understand that collaboration in the companies, collaboration between the people is so hard. Even we recognize that within the COVID is better now. If you imagine the collaboration and how to embrace between the social and technical synthesis, you can imagine the people from the social, they are the people who do not trust the technology, who trust them itself, and they are not convinced to use the technology, on the one hand. And on the other hand, you are a pure technical people that believe in technology only. And I'm trying to explain how we in Česko.Digital try to bring them to the collaboration mode and try to find a solution for both ways. Okay, cool. Why us? If you know us, the Česko.Digital, we are the civic tech non-profit organization. We have been developed 2.5 years with Jakub Nešetřil, who was the owner of Apiary. We currently have more than 4,300 people as volunteers. We are focused for the expert volunteers. Expert volunteer is someone who is trying to help with the expertise what he's already doing. So if you imagine the people or the developers from the companies, they're also willing to help in their free time, which is quite amazing because we have so much people. When we started, we have the mission that we want to expertise the NGOs as well as the governments on the one side, and also to bring the people to help each other. We have the projects on education, in the help. We also have the project with governance, and currently we impact somehow 4 million people in Czech. Let me bring you the example how we understand the data, how we understand the collaboration, why we think that the data is not about the technology, but it's about the people. Let me bring you one example, or example number 1, which is about the data from the application CityVisor. If you are from Czech Republic, you probably know or have heard about the project CityVisor, which was done by Ben Kotmel and Martin Kopeček, who have created this amazing application. And it was created to help the municipality with the financial management. Currently, the application is used in more than 50 cities. It's completely open source. It's completely used the open data. Even the data came from the accounting system as a source. And it completely used by the management on the municipalities, as well as the user from the cities. This example shows why it's important to understand the user first, because if we need to understand what the user does mean and what the user wants, then we can maybe create a solution. So this is the case number 1, how we understand the open data and how we understand that even it's not about data only, but the presentation of the application itself and the usability for the users. Let me bring another example of what we have done. It was the case from the COVID. We call it dáme roušky, which means that let's give the face mask. We have created this application 2012 when we have found that we don't have in Czech Republic enough face masks. Within the project, we have bring more than 3 million visitors of the application. We have managed more than 600,000 face masks. We use the map application to present the data, and it's completely open data, and it was used by the customers and also by the seamstress. I want to show you on these 2 examples what we have found there, and how we understand the project, because in Česko.Digital, in our community, we try to bring social and the technical skills together. What we have found, how we should be or how we are successful with the solution, what we have done is that on the one hand, we need to have a user. We need to have a user who is probably knowing the problem, or at least he identified that he has a problem, what he should usually use. It's probably the user not from IT, so he doesn't know what should be the solution, if should be the API, or if should be the application or the front end and anything else. He only knows that he has a problem, he needs to solve it. Then, on the other hand, we have a civic tech, in our case, because we are a civic tech organization, so we usually bring the people from the IT. They do understand the data, they do understand the application, but usually they don't understand the case, what the user is trying to solve. And then, what is both for the project, what I presented before, is that we try to use the tech library, which is common for the open source, which is the no-code application, because it should be very simple solution, and it should be something like the click play. And we believe in Česko.Digital and also Czech Republic that we need to achieve all three elements together, and then we have some solution which is useful for the users as well for the society. We are a 2.5-year organization, and we, within our journey, help more than 10 NGOs within the data, and we try to combine technical and the social skills. And I want to show you what we have experienced by our journey so far. What we understand is that we need to have a problem. Within, there are many techie solutions about the open data, and we have a data there. We understand that without the problem, what we are trying to solve, it's not possible to bring the successful solution. The problem means that the user is trying to understand his usual case. It could be the problem that I cannot find any information on the website, or even I cannot find the information what is really a requirement for my quality of life. Then, after we identify the problem, what we all know how difficult could be to find the problem, to understand the problem, we need to have the users. Because if we don't understand the users, we cannot understand what could be the usual case for the application or for the solution. The users are also important, that you need to discuss them frequently and prototype with them how the application or how the data could be useful for them. And then, as a first point, is that we identify the data. Means that for some of the cases, the data are already there, and it's about the, let's say, elaboration, how to get the data and how to present the data for the user. Sometimes we need to ask for the data because the data help the user to try the problem. What is important to say, that the solution, even we call to them the data, is not about the data itself, but it's about the usual case for the user which is trying to help the problem. So if the data is only about the part of the problem for the solution, but the data cannot be the solution itself. And when you combine the problem, when you combine the user, when you combine the data, then you can try to find and prototype and propose the solution. And what is important in all that circle is to understand the value. Means the value for the user, means the value for the data, and means the value for the solution. Because if no one understands the value of the solution, it could not be successfully used for the long-time perspective. Why I hit this circle is that within the application, within the trying to solution, is the never-ending story. Because even the user see, for example, the data, how they try to use it, we need to prototype with them and understand again if we fix the problem or if we found the solution for his need. So this is the circle why it's prototyping many, many times, and why even for the data and open data, especially for that case, you need to have the user with you. Otherwise, you will have the super trooper techie data, but no one will use it. Our conclusion from that side, as we experienced with more than 10 projects and projects from the education, projects from the health, and also from the governance experience, is first, user data and the data second. Means that we need to have the user for the data. We need to understand if we have this user for that cases, and then we need to find out the data which is useful. The second one, we need to encourage the companies to open the data. We have many open data projects, especially Czech Republic, and many techie data, but the data sometimes are not useful for the daily business cases. So we need to encourage the other companies from NGO, from the commercial companies, to show them that the data can be one of the useful tools to somehow involve the more people to work with the data. I'm not discussing right now about informational or to how the data can help us with the decision and all that stuff, but we are the step behind. We need to motivate them that the open data can be useful and it's not the know-how of the company can involve the society. So means we need to find and open the data which worth it, which is so important. And the third one is we need to shift the data components to people. We have the techie open data, we have the cases, we want to show the data, but if the people do not understand how the data can be useful for them, or how can they use the data in their daily life, means that they will not be ready to use it in their daily life. If I mean the data competence, I mean to use the data in context, because everyone has his own context and they need to use it to their context. If I mean the data competence, I mean the understanding how they can elaborate with the data, because the data can be very simple used. It's not about some super trooper application on front end. It could be an Excel. And Excel, the people do understand from the companies how the Excel can be used. So it's not so have it some super trooper techie, but it can be very easy in the Excel sheet. And if I mean the data components to people, I mean also to understand how the data can be useful for them in their daily business life. And it could be as one of the enabler how we can help with the digitalization. Because if the people do use the data for their daily life, and they, for example, elaborate that they need to have some more detailed information for their decision, this can be very nice loop to get back to the application, get back to the system, get back to the core system, and ask to have the system or information system better. And this could be very loop. So what I want to say, please find the user and the problem first to understand how the open data can help people with their daily life and not vice versa. So that's it. Thank you.